Hello.
Hello. Hi, Brittany.
Hello, hello. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creating a New Story. I am so excited for tonight's guest. I'm going to start reading her bio and then we're going to get right into our questions. So, here we go. Okay, so tonight my guest name is Kayla Spears. Kayla was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, which she still currently calls home. She has a BA in exercise science with a minor in dance. She graduated with the intention of becoming a PE teacher. However, somehow, somewhere along the way, she found the love of reading to children, which is one of the reasons Storytime with Kayla was created. She currently works as a teacher's assistant for a kindergarten class. When she's not reading or reviewing books, she enjoys listening to music, dancing, and sleeping. I love it.
Yes.
Because sleep is needed. Listen.
Right. Every day, man. Can't function without the sleep.
No, seriously. Really. Um,
Mhm.
okay, so before we actually do the questions, I just have one question. I always like to ask my creator guests, where are you from? Because depending on who's watching this, wherever they come from, the family they come from, the city, the school, they may just feel like that already disqualifies them. And I just like for people to hear where other people are from.
Absolutely. So I'm from the south side of Chicago, and like mentioned before, I was born and raised, and I spent a little time in Wisconsin when I went to school. I think Chicago will forever be my home. I don't think I'm going nowhere else.
I love it. I love it. So that's good. And I know guys, I already asked that question, so it's kind of redundant. But sometimes when I ask that, people say, or they might explain where they're from a little bit more, and it's just nice to have context for guests. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm with that. I am with that.
okay, so first question. How long have you been doing story time with Kayla?
So, I actually just celebrated my 6 year anniversary last month in February. And
Okay.
it's so crazy looking back because when story time with Kayla first was started, I would just go live on Facebook, and
Mhm.
to see how things have changed 6 years ago, how I've gotten better with editing, how I've gotten better with lighting and reading the story, making it a little bit more fun. Because you're always your hardest critic. So like the beginning, I was like, I didn't read that fun enough. Man, it didn't sound all that good enough. Um, but it's been 6 years, and I definitely wouldn't at all expect it to be 6 years, make it to 6 years. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
but
Well,
I'm definitely
congratulations.
grateful. Thank you, thank you.
That is amazing. Okay. How are you impacting the people or your audience? I'm not sure if you have clients, you can answer for that or not. How do you feel like you're impacting your audience with what you do online?
Well, I so the main one of the main goals that I have, my hopes at least, for the impact, especially with my community, is ha- creating a platform so kids could be excited about reading. And growing up, I didn't like reading, so I wanted to change that. And even before the pandemic in 2018, I saw kind of like a need and kind of like a hey, I could do something to help the kids in my communities and the in my community. And also I'm at the age where all my friends are having kids and everything. So I'm like, why not do something? Why not do something fun for them and everything? So yeah, yes.
Okay, so do you have a reason why you didn't like reading? It was just too long, or like, did you?
Oh, I think it was kind of a lot of factors. It was
Okay,
definitely probably one, I couldn't sit still for long. That's still me. I don't even like what I'm not really a TV person because I just can't sit for too long.
okay,
But true story, it wasn't until I got into college when I was 19 that's when I learned I'm dyslexic. And so I'm pretty sure that played a huge role in me not wanting to read. Probably
yeah,
I just couldn't, I didn't know what was happening. It was just harder for me to do the things. I still got good grades and everything. I just thought differently. and different from like my sister, my twin, and then the other kids in the class. But being such a young age, you really don't know that's the reason why. But reflecting back, I think that's the biggest reason. Probably I just needed things a little more what's the word? Adaptive for me. But now,
Okay.
yeah, now I love to read, especially the children's books.
That's so
I
good.
tell you, I have so many books, and I know I'm gonna run out of space soon, but I love it.
Okay, so I see, but that's just the painting in the back. That's not related to a book, is it?
Oh no.
Okay, but I like
Mm, thank you. I did it
it.
myself. Girl, I had to put edges on her too. Can you see the little edges I made? Yeah. Yeah, I had, yeah.
Reading books and painting. See, there's no painting back here. That's not my gift. Not my. I wish it was, but I don't have it.
Really, I will say, I think the Libra in me, because I'm a Libra, um, that's where all my creativity comes from. Doing,
Okay.
doing fancy artistic things and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you kind of answered this, but if you have anything else, you can add it. What is your ultimate goal or big picture with what you do?
Yeah. So that was one of the goals. Another goal is to really bring awareness to, well, a couple of, so I want to bring voices of Black and brown authors. I want their voices to be heard. And so that's why a lot of times, even though I read any and all children's books, I really like to showcase and highlight books that was made and written by authors of color. And then also, I want our babies to be able to see that they could they could be content creators too, and they don't have to like do something derogatory to themselves to try and get famous. They don't have to do crazy things to get famous. They could do simple things like reading a book. And so that's another goal. And there's definitely a couple of more that I think I will really have to sit and think about. Because, yeah. And starting from the beginning, I always wanted everything done with purpose. So even from me reading the book, I could, I could hold the book up and read it like this, yeah. But I like to do like the point of view style so the kids could see themselves like, oh, those are my hands holding the book and flipping the pages and things like that. But yeah, yes, indeed. A couple of goals for sure.
It's good. I love it. I love it. Um, you also answered this a little bit, so if you have anything else, you can add it. If not, we'll go to the next question. Did your upbringing influence what you do now, or did you just see a need and decide to fill the gap?
Actually, that's both. To yes to both questions
Okay.
because for sure my mom stayed with a book in her hand always.
Oh,
She
okay.
I don't even think she watched that much TV. She stayed with a book in her hand. And then like my dad always read the newspaper. My sister, she read too. Yeah, it was just me who was who didn't want to do it. But and then also there was for sure a need because when I first started with the with my story time and I would go to the library and everything, I didn't really see that many books that represented our babies. And when I did, I was like, oh, I need to buy that for like my to keep with me to always have it. And so yes to both. I definitely had reading present, but there was also a need that I saw in my community. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. Okay. So take us from you having the idea to possibly doing this to actually bringing it to life. Like what caused it and what were some of those, like, what did it look like when you first started?
Yes. So like I mentioned before, I'm at the age where all my friends was having babies and everything. And so I always, so I like to perform. And I was like, and I always, so performing and then working with kids was always like my top things I like to do. And usually working with kids, especially the early childhood ages, you're used to more things like singers for early childhood, like Miss Rachel and Gracie Corner type stuff.
Yeah.
As much as I love music, I cannot sing for nothing. So I had to think of something else because I was like, I really want to do something and be an influence, but I can't sing. And I know my sister would get mad at me if I start singing and making up songs and I can't even sing. And then I got the nerve to record it. I know she'll be upset. But so I was like, there's I couldn't really think of something. And then at the time I was working at it was like a preschool enrichment center type deal. And I was the teacher assistant, but I also taught some baby classes like baby gymnastics and things like that. Um, so that's when I kind of got the idea of maybe I can just read. Because during class we would have just a read aloud time. And so I made a Facebook post. This was all the way back in 2018, and I said,
Okay.
"Parents, friends with kids, if I created some type of reading video or where we learn, we could get a story, we could do ABCs and learn like baby sign language and things like that. Would you all be interested?" And people was like, "Yes, you better do it. We'll definitely tune in." So I was like, "Okay." Well, I didn't put it out there, so now I can't turn back like how I guess I gotta stick with it now. So maybe 2 weeks later, I eventually did my first. It was a live, so I went live on Facebook to do my very first reading, and I think I read maybe Brown Bear, or something, and it was it was a mess. But because I think that was my first time going live, period. So I think I just, um, but it was good because I kept it on. And so even the days where I was like, I don't want to do this because I was doing it once a week on Mondays.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it was it was definitely something. But it's crazy because had I known 6 years ago that that was going to lead me to where I am today and meeting all the people I've met, um, being blessed with all the books that I have. Yeah, it was. I never would have expected that to happen at all. From reading books, what?
Yeah.
See how far reading a book could take you? You'll never know. You will never know.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so did you have any reservations about going live, like when you first did it, or were you just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it?
No, I think no. I was for sure scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta make sure the book is. How am I going to have the screen? Because sometimes I have a vision of something else, and then when it doesn't turn out like how I wanted to, I just thinks it's completely horrible. I'm like, that was just the worst ever, just because it didn't go as planned as I wanted it to. Um, so I was for sure scared, but part of life, you just got to take that jump and take that leap of faith. And the crazy part is, before all of that even happened, I felt like a strong push to want to do something, like I was saying with kids and with reading stuff like that, or
Yeah.
entertainment for kids. And I knew it was no one but God, so that's why I knew I just had to roll with whatever was going coming along. I knew I just had to roll with it. Um, but yes.
Okay, so you said something, and this happens with a lot of people. So I'm just
Mhm.
curious if you can say anything about this. You said you have a vision, and if it doesn't go the way you want, you just feel like this was terrible. How do you still encourage yourself, or maybe you just decide, but I'm still going to keep going? What is
That's
that process for
ooh.
you?
So, couple of things. I definitely have my family to back me up. Cause like, Kayla, that was fine. You did good. You did good, Kay. So that definitely is a positive. But also for myself, even if it was a bad experience or bad day, that's not compared to the joy that's coming and all the big stuff that's coming in the future, you know? And so sometimes things have to be ugly before they get to the beautification that you need for it to be. So, yeah, just keep pushing. It is definitely hard in the beginning, but you got it. Keep going, keep pushing. Because someone somewhere is going to see it and they're going to believe in you and they're going to say, hey, I need her to continue what she's doing. Yeah.
I was just waiting. I'm like, okay, go ahead. I mean, I'm like, you talking good. Okay. So if someone is interested in doing something similar to what you do, or maybe starting their own thing, but
Hmm.
I mean, you kind of already answered it. So if you have anything else, you can add it. But if they're scared to do it, what would you say to them? Or if you want to give them practical tips on how they can start, you can go that way.
Yeah. So, my biggest one, if it's in your head now, start it today. Whether you could start by writing out your script, you could start by saying, say, if you do want to start being a storyteller today, you could go to the library tomorrow or order it a book off Amazon and have it shipped 2 days from now, and it'll be here. And it's all about making first steps. So if it's something that you really, really want, like you really want to be a content creator or you really want to be a an entrepreneur, just start today. It could be the smallest of steps that's going to make such an impact, especially later on when it really is time for you. And then another tip, it does not matter if there are, say, 2,000 storytellers, because I like to use the this metaphor and not what's the word? Analogy.
Analogy.
Yes, thank you. But I like to, so when you go into the grocery store and you go to the bread aisle, you see like 50 different kinds of bread. It's the exact same idea. The exact same white wheat bread is right there with different brands. But you may choose a different brand and I choose a different brand because it's just based off what the company, what we like. And so just because I'm a storyteller already out there, and I've been out here, doesn't mean you can't be one, because what you may give someone else may really like, and what I give someone else will like, you know. So do not let that, don't ever be discouraged like, oh, it's too many of this out there, it's already enough of this, no one's going to pay attention to me because this person has this many followers and they already established. Yeah, there was a point in time they was in your exact shoes.
Yeah.
um yep. And so that you just gotta put your trust in the Lord and just keep on riding. Ride, ride, ride. And one more. I want to give a good one. One more tip. Uh, don't be afraid to try new things. Some things may flop, some things may fly, but you never know unless you try.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wrap in there.
right. Right off the noggin.
Okay. What is one book that has helped you in what you do, or possibly in content creation? Maybe there's a book that you've read.
So there hasn't been a book per se, but there's definitely, Google is my best friend, and also YouTube is my best friend. And
What is a song that you are playing on repeat right now?
there are so many. Oh, the song that I'm playing, I listen to a lot of gospel. So one thing I like to listen to before I start my day is No Weapon by Fred Hammond. But I also like, it's a song called Precious Wings by Tatiana Ali. And I was just listening to it before we started. Uh, but yeah, I have, ooh, music. If I wasn't doing like storytelling and all this, I would definitely be in the music industry. I'm not sure doing what, maybe music producing or
Yeah.
something, because music is constantly in my head. So yeah, it's a lot, a
Yeah.
big part of my day. Have reading, have music. That's how it
Yeah.
is. Yes,
You might be able to still do some music producing. So,
that's true. That
yeah.
is, yes.
If you have a podcast that has helped you in what you do or maybe in creating your content, can you share that?
Yeah, let me think. I'm not, let me think. A podcast. I really think just seeing different content creators on the internet, like especially if I follow them early on, and then I see how much they grow after just continuing to stick with it, even though personally I know how hard it can be, and I see them grow from this many subscribers or followers to and now getting like brand deals and being super super big and stuff like that. Just from seeing things like that alone kind of helps me and inspires me and motivates me. Yeah.
Love it. When was the last time you burned something? It could be food, clothing, hair.
Stop it, because I think it was the waffles this morning that I made. It was a little. It wasn't black though, so that was.
Okay.
But they was definitely brown. Had a little nice little. You can do that with the fork. Um. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was the waffles from this morning. But
But did you
everyone
eat
else's
it?
came out perfect. When I made mine, that's when I burnt them. But okay.
It happens.
Yeah.
What is one platform or application that helps you in your content creation or in maybe, I don't know, like getting your books or choosing your books if you have a platform application for that?
I would say Instagram is
Okay.
my main. That's where usually authors contact me. That's where I, even though I post on Facebook as well, it's still I post mostly on Instagram and
Okay.
things like that. Yeah, yeah. Instagram and me and Instagram go way back.
I think I might know the answer to this, but I'll still ask. What is one talent that you do not have but wish you did, and why?
What is it, Brittany?
Maybe singing.
You are right. Yes, I really wish so bad I could sing, because I know if I could sing like Whitney Houston, I'll be blowing everybody's mind. If I could sing like Aretha, Jennifer Hudson, J Hud, man, y'all couldn't tell me nothing. Nothing at all.
It's over.
It's over. Done.
And last question, who is one content creator that is constantly dropping great information that you have actually implemented and it has helped you?
Ooh, that's kind of going back to well, I'm gonna shout out some of my friends actually, and but also kind of going back to seeing them like some Three King Vision, Kim C. Lee, and seeing how they started from the beginning. Activity Arthur as well, but seeing how they started from the beginning, and I think we all kind of started around each other around the same time maybe. I know for sure we definitely met during the pandemic, but seeing them grow just makes me so happy, and it motivates me to keep going because they're keep pushing through, and there's and oh also Haley Moon and Derek Moon as well, shout out to them. um but the fact that they're continuing and not stopping, so that motivates me to keep pushing and you know not not giving up. Yeah.
Well, that is it. You are done.
Oh yay.
Okay, so tell everyone I mean, they can see it at the bottom, but still just say it so they can hear it. Anywhere else where they can follow you, and if you have anything coming up that you want them to know about.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at storyteller_K. And then also, please check out my YouTube channel. That's where I do my read alouds. I actually kind of want to start bringing some new content where I do learning how to read, like learn to read with reading comprehension, beginning sounds, things like that. So that's on my YouTube channel, which is Storytime W/Kayla. And you can also find me on Facebook at Storyteller K.
Yes. Okay, so how long have you been doing YouTube? Because you said you started on Facebook.
Yeah. I didn't
So,
even,
mhm,
man, how I missed that important part. So it wasn't until I think maybe 2020 is when I started
okay.
YouTube. Yeah, because a couple of people was like, "Hey, just go ahead and put it on YouTube so you could reach a wider audience." And
Yeah.
definitely, since I put it on YouTube, I've reached a wider audience. So I'm pretty happy with how things have come, especially these
Nice.
last 6 years.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Okay, so you can find her on all three of those places. And oh, and did you have anything coming up that you want to tell them about? Or
Not at the moment.
okay,
Not at the moment. But
okay, I
yes,
just like to
I would.
make sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking.
Yes. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope one that you, if you have some kids or you know someone with kids, that you share her information so they can find out and learn about her and
Please.
follow. But also, I hope that you are encouraged to create whatever you feel like, man, maybe there's something to this that I could try for myself. Or if there's something that you see in your child or they have this idea, to nurture it, to just see, what could come of it. So that is it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Creating a New Story. Bye, y'all.
Bye.